Hey family, it's Marv, one rep at a time. We're gonna go over the snatch, grip, rack pull, and deadlift. Now, this is never gonna be the first variation that I throw at you, whether it be a rack pull or a deadlift, but it's one that I don't think people do enough. The snatch grip, for those of you who don't know, is just a wide grip, rack pull first, deadlift second. So if you were someone, when we came working together, you've never deadlifted before, we obviously started to do the rack pull, then progress you to a deadlift. If you're somebody who felt confident with your deadlift, and I signed off on the video of you doing it, then you kind of know the basic points of it. So start with a rack pull first and then move to the deadlift. Now, because we're at a mechanical disadvantage, because our hands are wide, your upper back's gonna get a hell of a lot more work. I love it for developing upper backs. It's also gonna be a lighter movement, so it's never going to rival your traditional rack pull or traditional or sumo deadlift. So just a regular, regular traditional deadlift or sumo, right? It's never gonna rival that in weight because you're at a mechanical disadvantage right here, which is why your upper back has to work so much more, which is why it blows up upper backs like nobody's business. So start with the rack pull version first. Once you feel confident with that, then go ahead and give the deadlift a try, or like we're about to talk about right now, you could slowly work the bar down to eventually get yourself ready to do this from the ground. Starting with the rack pull version, most of you are gonna be in a squat rack just like that with safety bars. If you are somebody who's working out at home, just like our old website with the blog we written a long time ago, you could use cinder blocks to adjust the height. So because of that, the height of where the bar is gonna start is gonna be kind of up to your equipment, and what you're comfortable with is about an inch below your kneecaps. That's as low as my safety bars go, but I think that is a good position to start. There might be a case where, starting at your kneecaps is the only equipment you have, or even above the kneecaps. But personally, I like to have the bar below my kneecaps. So I would start with that, and we're gonna go kind of quickly over the cues, because again, this is not gonna be the first time you've ever gotten a rack pull or deadlift from me. You come up to the bar, we're gonna do a traditional stance, so there is no sumo. That would be quite the movement. So we're gonna do a traditional stance. So for most folks that is shoulder width apart. Some folks find a little bit narrower works for them. Some folks find a little bit wider. If you're a traditional deadlifter, so hands are outside of the knees, do whatever stance you typically do. For those of you who are sumo deadlifters like I am, shoulder width apart is totally fine. And we come up, so the bar is about an inch away from us. So just like we're looking down, so over the knots of our shoelaces, over our middle foot. What I like to do is, for this, I know for the deadlift I say, grab the bar and then drop down. I personally like to bend the knees some until I gently feel the bar against the front of my shins or your kneecap or your thighs, whatever it's gonna touch. Then I grab the bar. Now grab it very carefully, because the last thing you wanna do with load is to smash your fingers, right? So be mindful, start light. We're gonna come here, and if you remember, we're gonna be pushing up through the middle of our foot, not our heels, not our toes, and you're gonna take the big breath in, brace everything down, squeeze oranges under your armpit, tighten your lats down, tighten your back, up, down, breathe out. Tighten everything down, squeeze oranges in the armpit, up, down, breathe out. Now, sure, I guess you could breath in, up, breathe out. I'm not a huge fan of that personally, but if that's something that you find works better for you, sure, I would rather you hold the breath the entire time. So to sum it up real quickly, come over the bar. For most folks, that's gonna be shoulder width stance. It's about an inch away, so you're looking down, it's covering your shoelaces. Gently bend the knees so you just ever so slightly touch the bar. Grab outside wide as you can. Now, because I'm grabbing wide, you can see on the side view, my back angle is closer to parallel to the ground than if I had a traditional, right? So obviously I have to slide down. So be mindful of that. The hips have to go back, right? Press your butt against the back wall to keep your low back in good alignment. You take that big gulp of air in, you brace everything down, hunker your core down as if you're about to be punched. Picture there's oranges under your armpits. You got to squeeze those to tighten and flex your lats. So lock everything down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Just like that. And remember, I am not a fan of touch and go or bouncing reps, because especially with the wide grip, if it gets in front of you, your low back's gonna round, and you're gonna be in trouble. So every rep is separate. I come to a complete dead stop. Okay, family, so now we're gonna do the deadlift with the snatch grip. So we come up to the bar. It's gonna be shoulder width stance, unless you are someone who does a traditional deadlift and your feet are narrower. Go ahead and do that stance, but if not, I want shoulder width. Now remember, it's about middle of our foot, looking over the knots of my laces. Okay, now we're going to be pushing up through the middle of our feet. Our butt comes back, so ever so slightly feel it just gently touch. I don't want the bar to move. Grab your grip, so it's gonna be significantly wider. You're pushing up from the middle of your foot, taking that big breath in. Also, I'm not looking forward, keeping my neck nice in alignment. Squeezing over to my armpit, and I'm taking the slack out of the bar, just like a regular deadlift. So brace, orange in the armpit, slack out, push up through the midfoot, push the hips through, reverse. Up, down, slack out, oranges in the armpit, up to the middle of the foot. And remember, my butt has to be going back. It is a hinge, otherwise you're gonna round your back. That is a no-go. That is the snatch grip, both rack pull and deadlift, 1 rep at a time.
If you're watching this video, it means you are a 1 rep client, so first and foremost, thank you, and then a quick reminder. I do a referral bonus, so if you refer anybody to me and they sign up for anything, I don't care if it's the consultation, online training, nutrition, ebooks, shirts, if I do a seminar at their work, if they're local, whatever it is, they will get a discount and you will get a discount. I like to do referrals. I prefer my business to be referral based, obviously. And if we're not working together any longer, I'll make sure I send you some cash no matter where you are in the world. Way of saying thank you.